Kimbo, Nata Tanzambi Yamazulu, Kim Fumu Kyako Isa, Yenge Keno family, Luvuvamu, Yala, Away Nusiemi, Kambu Tekieno again. This is your brother Trey Okitiwe Isolele. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Coming to you with another message. Before we begin, I'd like to first honor Tatanzambi and Pungu Talendo for continuing to still continue to work in my life and to do the things that he's doing for me and for all of us who are also moving forward in this truth. I want to bid you welcome to all the Bantu people scattered across the earth, all of the people who are non-Bantus that are part of this awakening. You know, without the Most High, we know many of us wouldn't be where we are. I give honor to Kuswakongo, Mwananvelela, all of the elders, the Maleki Congo, all of our descendants of Isolele, and the like, and those who are doing the Most High's work, I honor you as well. You know, as I begin this message, you know, I want to continue to uplift our people. I know as a person that has been given the mission that I have been given, at times we do make mistakes. And I have addressed that mistake. That was obviously something that I did and I should not have. And I've already dealt with the issue with those involved. But I will say that, you know, I know the Most High knows who I am better than anybody. You know, there's many people right now, even those in this awakening, they truly don't know who I am. And the time will come when that revelation will come. I thank my young brother that he and I bonded so well from the beginning of this as I came into this knowledge, when he was revealing some things to me from the Maliki about certain things, and I was glad to know that the Most High had chosen me for this special mission that will soon manifest. And so I will continue to preach this truth to our people, and will continue to support everyone that is doing the Most High's work as well, and to do my best to be about Kintwati. You know, I heard a message just last night from another one of our people, and it was very moving and uplifting. You know, I thank him for his message, and I needed to hear it because many people don't know how the Most High is using the others for their salvation. And of course, the mindset of Christianity has always been, well, through Jesus, you know, through Jesus, they push that agenda, not understanding that when you are with Kuswa Kongo, Yesu Kristu, you also work as a Messiah figure because you are with him as you are his brother or sister, because he gives you the authority, just like he gave in the scriptures, to do the things those he has chosen, that he gives the authority. Not everyone gets, that's the deception, not everybody gets the authority, you know, and that's why, you know, the enemy, and I'm entitling this the chessboard, pawns in the game. Mayamona Toko's prophecies alluded to this future. You know, I was listening to the Young Tokuish Youth message, and I remember I had had an illustrated book about the same thing they were talking about. And I want to be that person, like what Simon Toko, who said, when those who come at him wished him harm, I will say thank you and show them that you have basically lifted up the Most High in ways you never know, because he was the Most High is glorified in these times of strife, when he makes something happen miraculously that no one can comprehend. And so I'm going to talk about, this is, again, this is that book, Maimona. Oops, sorry. That I had purchased through our Yaya, to kind of give people an understanding. If you can see it. The book Maimona, kind of, my camera doesn't quite do it right. Sorry. My book doesn't quite show it great, but the prophecies of Maimona, and it goes into this scripture that actually was brought to my attention from a close friend of mine, and it was Psalms 44, and it says the former deliverances, because the Tatanzambi has delivered us Bantu people before, and the present troubles, and you see that even in now we're going through troubles. It says, we have heard with our own ears, O Yahweh Kongo Tatanzambi, our fathers have told us what work thou didst in their days, in the times of old, how thou didst drive out the heathen with thy hand. And I think that that's something to consider as we're getting ready to go into this next phase, that this is something the Most High will do again. And plantest them, how that thou didst afflict the people and cast them out. For they got not the land in the possession by their own sword, neither did their own arms save them. Meaning that we can't do this on our own, with our own means, but we have to have, but it says, thy right hand and thine arm and the light of thy countenance, because thou hast a favor unto them. So in those days of deliverance, the Most High was able to use his power, his might, and will continue to do so in this time, which is why you're going to see a major shift coming. Thou art my king, O Tatanzambi, King Kongo. Command deliverance for Yakuba. Through thee will we push down our enemies. Through thy name will we tread them under that rise up against us. For I will not trust in my bow, neither shall my sword save me, but thou hast saved us from our enemies, and hast put them to shame that hated us. And in Tatanzambi we boast all the day long and praise thy name forever. Salah. So again, this is the emphasis that every battle we face, and I know I have been here many times when there are those who are against me, and I turned it over to the Most High, and he took care of the issue in ways that I could never. And I remember when he revealed some of those times that to me, it was like, wow, that's amazing. What he did in those times of bringing me out. And, you know, just to give people an understanding, you know, I knew from the beginning of my awakening some years ago that I was going in a direction that was not what was the norm, even when it was given to me, the mindset of Africa, what I didn't know how to get there, but he provided the path to help me. And it was an amazing revelation, because see, when I started to listen to the prophecies of Maimona, it was interesting to see how some of the things that I spoke about before I knew were kind of lining up with some of the things he said. And when I learned some things about him and in his relationship to me, it was like, wow, now it makes sense why I am where I am now and why I know the things that I know. And I'm so glad that Tatanzambi has chosen me during this time. And, just to get an idea, I'm going to go to the portion where he talks about the end of the world. This is, of course, the words of Mayamona Simon Toko. It says, one generation goes and another generation comes, but the land remains forever, quoting from Ecclesiastes 1:4. The end of the world, the Toto, does not mean that the earth will cease to exist completely and the life that exists in it. But yes, the expulsion of Satan and all his angels. And of course, he quotes 2 Peter 3:7, 2:4 and 9, Jude 1:6 and 7. Servants who remain loyal to the Most High will be judged in the day of judgment and will be worthy of eternal life. But the servants who revolt and rebel against the Most High and enlist themselves as soldiers in Satan's ranks will be destroyed chief in the second death with his Satan. Thus explains the book of Revelation 27-10 and the verse 15. Okay. And this is one of the things I also want to talk about, where he says this is a reference to the Son of Man, Ben-Amuntu. When the Ben-Amuntu comes in his glory and all of the angels with him, then will he sit on the throne of glory. And the Malakis, who do that also include? And that's one of the things that many people don't understand. If you are like Kuswa Kongo, you are an apostle, you are spiritually endowed with the Mwanda, you are included in this time. All right. And then he goes to talk about the new world, which now, of course, we are aware that the people that are playing chess right now, they're in the process of setting up their new world order. However, the chess game between them and the Most High right now, as we just read about the end of the world, this is exactly what is going to play out. The new world. Which new world? Read carefully the book by the preacher Ecclesiastes 1-4 and verse 9. So let me go to that and see. Let's see here. So in Ecclesiastes 1, verse 4, it says, one generation passes away, and another generation cometh, but the earth abideth forever. We know, even as of what happened in the days of Noah, that even after the flood hit, the earth still abided and was a reset. And we're going to see something like that happening soon. And it says in verse 9, and it says there, the thing that has been is that which shall be. And this is one of the things that Tata Nzambi has really given me an idea of, especially connecting me with the past, is that the way it was is also the way it shall be. As it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end, is what we're talking about. And that which is done is that which shall be done. And that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. Okay, we're familiar with this verse. So everything that has been happening, it has different spins on it, but this has been going on since the days of Adama, in the things that happened with the fallen angels there. And again, it's happening again because there were false teachings even in those days, just like there's false teachings now, which is one of the reasons why it was so difficult to get people to listen to what Noka, and it wasn't just him, it was Methuselah as well, who went out to try to tell people this is what's going to happen. Is and you know, and of course they didn't want to listen because they felt that they knew that it wasn't going to play. They didn't think it was going to play out that way. And of course, there actually was some things that ensued war-wise that were, the intent was to try to stop whatever was coming from those who actually had an idea that they wanted the end of Noka to happen as well. But who will believe these things, being Simon Toko a liar? Isaiah answered and said to them, if anyone loves me, he will keep my word, and my Father will love him, and we will come to him and make our home with him. It's Elkanah 14:23. We are all sinners, but there are two classes of sinners. The Most High's things are set of listeners to be warned and smart. See, and that's one of the things that most people don't even know. There's two classes of sinners. Okay, there are those who willfully and purposely want to do sin, and who their intentions is to create harm. And then of course there are those who sin and they know they need to repent, and they have that intention to return to the Most High. And that's part of what we're trying to accomplish here. Okay. These things may happen sooner or later, but they are already said. So again, the Most High has already spoken certain things that will happen. It's just a matter of when they will happen. Okay. This indicates to us that these days that we're going through, the sanctuary is already being purified. So when you go back to when he was here, and you go back to what we're dealing with now, there is a purification process that is taking place. Hence the reason why you're seeing many of the changes happening in the earth. But they want to teach people something different about that. You know, it's climate change, this and that. Oh, no, the Most High is behind the renewing of the earth. And after this cleansing of the sanctuary, the fulfillment of the prophecies of Daniel and Revelation will follow. So when the Most High is ready, he's finished the cleansing of the sanctuary, and we know where that is, if we speak spiritually. The sanctuary is, where is the temple? Where is the, where is the Most High? Where does the Most High dwell? Okay, when that purification process takes place, boom, we begin with Daniel and Revelation, which will follow, which is, of course, the restoration of the kingdom. But we must not forget that the coming of the Ben Muntu will be like a thief. Keep these things in your hearts. Okay, so we know, and I talked about this before, is that no one knows the day or the hour. And you must be in a position where you are preparing for whatever is to come, because there are those, just like in the days of Noka, they're distracted, they're not paying attention, they're doing things worldly. And so sadly, this is even happening with people in this awakening as well. And they're going to be caught, and even, that's why I have to pay attention myself. Even I could be caught off guard if I'm not paying attention. And that's important. It's for us to know. And that's why it's the need for us to maintain a sense of awareness of what is happening, because as you can now see, the enemy in this chess game has kind of tipped his hand, if you know what to look for, as to what is now the intended process as how things will be moving forward over the next few months. And I intend to see that you will see drastic, and I mean drastic, changes as this chess game with the pawns continue to be played. And of course, we know the knights are involved. and what they're trying to do and what their whole purpose of. I was gonna read, he was talking about the salvation grace, and he was addressing this, the salvation. Okay, this is something that if you're a Christian, you might want to pay attention to, because this is coming from the lips of the child of Revelations 12, showing you that this is why we call it a false doctrine that many people have been indoctrinated into. The salvation of Tatanzambi. Many people have that mania, and he called it mania because it was something that has been pushed since the 1800s and the 1900s. You see it in the 2000s. It came from, and because he knew how the evangelical movement was working. He was very much aware of it, okay? Because he heard what they were preaching. And this, of course, he knew who Billy Graham was. He knew who all these other preachers were, and he knew what they were saying. And this is what he had to say about it. I can do whatever I want because I will be saved by grace. That's kind of, if you look at the way many people in Christianity think, this is how it is. It's like, I'm saved, so I'm covered. I can, no matter what I do, I'm always okay. And he says, okay. But let's not forget that if Tatanzambi saved everyone by grace, there would be no lake of fire for the wicked. So you can see that you're listening to a doctrine that's not true. You must focus on your behavior at all times. And you must consider what you do to others on a regular basis. This is something that even myself, I have to do. And I know there's things I have to do to get better at. But at the same time, I realized, okay, we did have a pastor growing up. And I remember he said it all the time, you pay, you play, you pay. And I think this is something that Toko was saying, don't just think that you can do whatever. Because like you said, if that was really true, what he was saying, what's the purpose of the lake of fire? I tell you again that if your name and figure are not found in Zulu, and this is where there was a teaching about this, where we have to be seen in the spiritual world on high and be manifested along with the physical and the spiritual body. Okay, you will not enter the 1,000-year kingdom, nor will you enter the reign of eternity in New Jerusalem. Only where there will be weddings and enjoyments in the well-known streets of New Jerusalem will those who reign the 1,000-year reign come out. And if Tatanzambi, who knows how to save the servants, he would choose one by one in all religions and sects that speak of him. Okay. It is Tatanzambi who knows how to save his servants. Akongo. You see, and that's the thing that many people, as I'm moving forward, I'm seeing that we lose sight of that the Most High knows how to save his servants. Okay. But the problem is that we don't realize how does he do that? He can do it in ways that you don't even recognize. He can do it in a way that can be very bold and very brash and very out there, that people will, wow, what just happened? This person, why did this take place? And then he can also do it in a way that you don't even see it, that he did it, that he could have sent somebody and you didn't pay attention to who that person was sometimes, and you didn't know that this was the time of your salvation. See, there's a world right now that's believing that many people in this world that are believing they're saved, but the Most High didn't send them the person yet to save them. You're dealing with imposters, because there's many people out there that claim to know the Creator and He doesn't know them, but they're telling you that they know Him and they don't. This is why many people are seeing or having the scales over their eyes about the transitions that are now taking place. You know, I was encountering someone I knew in the past before I came into this awakening, and I was revealing some things to him, and he was shocked, because it's like one of those things, like, I wasn't paying attention, I didn't even know. And he's one of these people that believe what he believes in. He thinks he's right, he knows what he's not talking about. And that's going to be most people's reactions to what is coming, is like, wow, I thought we knew. I guess we didn't know. When they see many deceptions being exposed. Okay. And of course, this came as no surprise to Maya Moore. And of course, Kimbangu the same way, and Padi, and many others who would have had some foresight and seen things that's coming ahead. You know, but it was specifically in the name of this person that he literally went and spoke with people who were in government. And of course, and here's the thing, that take a close look at this. And I was listening to what the young people were saying. They were messing around with him to try to convince him that they were going to do what he wanted. And the thing about it is, you think he didn't know that they were messing around with him. So that's why, you know, as we deal with this intended awakening process to the continent, and for those that were looking for ways to come back, we must take into consideration some of the things that happened to Maimona, when he was under the impression that he would get a chance to say what he needed to say, and they played around with it. That's why we call this a chess match. We call this pawns in a game, because there are those knights out there that are going to try to stop Tatanzambi. And they're going to use methods that many of us will never suspect. But of course, the Most High's counter moves, he's already 5 or 6 or 7 steps ahead of what they're doing. And they're playing run to catch up. And one of those moves is going to be a major power move here really soon, that they're going to be left in awe of it when they find out that they're so-called the queen. Of course, when the queen is gone, which I like to call the harlot, and of course the king is going to be a part of this too, when they no longer have like when Maimona was saying about the end of the world, when they no longer have these key players in place, now what do? You got to sweep the chessboard clean. That's what's going to happen. And it was kind of a hint when they were talking about that in the movie Transformers. The creators are going to sweep the chessboard clean. That's basically a renewal of the earth. You know, when I was growing up, I liked Public Enemy because of the way that they were still feeding my mind, and it wasn't vulgar. And that's one of the reasons why I think they did to him and Progressive Group what they did, because they were actually inspiring people to question the status quo of what they were being taught. And that's part of the reason why I probably never always bought in to what I was doing. I was just going along because my parents, I was trying to be what they wanted me to be. But at the same time, I forgot you have to be what the Most High wants you to be too. And that was the struggle that I was facing within myself. I wanted to, be a success for my parents, but then at the same time, the Most High was showing me things that didn't line up with that. but they couldn't see it because I was questioning things and I would never get answers, and now I know why. Okay, because it is a chess match against those who have knowledge and light that the Most High has given to them versus those who have gone to the other side. Okay. So it's very much important to know that as we continue to move forward, that we cannot assume that we know how the Most High sent people for the salvation purposes or how he is going to save you. Because the way, like it says, his thoughts are not our thoughts, you know, and he's putting people in strategic places that you may not know who they are and what their role is, but they do. Okay. And that's one of the things that I was, you know, I'm glad that when it was revealed certain things that I will not discuss about my role, it's like, okay, now things are beginning to come to that fruition. I mean, you're going to see some, you know, it's basically going to come down to survival for many people. It really is. And there's going to be those who don't have to worry about that. The problem is those who have been tricked into thinking that they're the ones that are in that part of that group are going to find out that they're not. That's what my Amona was saying. Hey, you're thinking like that, saved by grace through faith, but yet then there shouldn't be a lake of fire if that's the case, if that's how the Most High is operating. Somebody has to be destroyed as with wickedness. And that's how many of the Malakis of Shaitani have masqueraded with their ministers, masquerading with certain things to make you believe something that isn't true. But because you don't question the spirit and see if they're of the Most High, you become trapped in something that isn't true. And it will be revealed to you it's not true. You know? And so moving forward, you know, my goal in this is to focus on the mission at hand and to focus on the role that I have been given and be prepared to initiate that role when it goes to the next phase, and to be prepared for whatever, because there is going to be a massive battle between both realms, the spirit and the physical. And at that point, there's not going to be much you can do if you're not on Congo's side. If you're not truly on Congo's side, there's not really much you're going to be able to do to withstand whatever Tatanzambi has prepared when he's going to sweep the chessboard clean, which is basically the plane of the earth. Okay. So what I would say for many of our people, because I know I was speaking to someone today on an issue that they were concerned about, is you must, in order to, it was an issue about discerning, and you have to remember, if what you are seeing or what you are doing is pushing you towards leaving the carnal world and being in the spirit and feeding into Tatanzambi, you are listening to the right message. But if you have, is this like what we happened when people were listening to the itchy ears and listening to whatever they felt right? That's not the Most High, because the Most High is going to put you in a position that you feel uncomfortable. He's going to expose certain things about you and others that will make that will cause friction. literally, because when he starts to say, wait a minute, I know what's going on here, and I'm going to expose it, then the people who are going to be exposed it's not going to feel good. It's not going to be like, hey, I'm cool in the gang with it. But you at the same time must still be joyful that the Most High is trying his best to get you to see you need to change your ways. Trust me, I've been there and I had the chastisement, you know, and see, humility is a major part of this, because there are many, many, many people throughout this whole awakening, throughout this whole time, that they're not as humble as they think they are. And this is something that will play out. And that's the truth. And so what I will say is, in preparation, because I've now seen several signals, and I don't look for signs, but I'm seeing things now as to where the agenda is pushing. Okay. There are going to be those who are going to get caught up in this next phase, and they're going to be weeded out, which is why we're saying to separate the wheat from the tares, the darnel. And there are going to be those of us who will play a role in that weeding out process. Okay. And Maya Mona was very well aware of that, you know, like when it says we will judge angels, we will judge, men. It goes back to what it says in the book of Hanak. And I remember the brother was talking about this. And when he lifts up his face to judge their secret ways, according to the word of the name of Tatanzambi of spirits, and their path according to the way of the righteous judgment of the Most High. See, it says Lord Most High in the book of Hanak. So this would be this is Yahweh Kongo, basically. Tatanzambi and Pungu. They will all speak with one voice and bless and praise and exalt and glorify the name of Tatanzambi of Mpevi. Okay. And he will call all the hosts of Zulu. Now this is important right here. He will call all the hosts of Zulu and all the holy ones above and all the hosts of Tatanzambi, the cherubim and the seraphim and the Ophanim. Remember, Satani was a seraphim. Oh no, cherub, I believe. Cherub. It was a cherubim. Apologies. No longer. Okay. And all the angels of power. Now, let me explain this. Not all the angels of power will just be the ones in the Zulu. Because I know of an event, I know how this played. I can tell you, I have witnessed how this played out before. Not all the Malekis of power will be the ones that's up in Zulu. Because there are those who have stuff inside of them that has laid dormant, that when the time comes, pow, it will unload. And that's why the Most High kept it to where it's not going to come out until the time is right, to keep those people from being exposed. This is significant. And all the Maleki of the principalities and the chosen one and the other host that is upon the dry ground and over the water on that day. So when do you expect this to happen? When the Most High says it's go time. It's time for this to go and take place. And you're going to witness this very soon. Because we're at the point now where the Most High has to move to save Yakuba from destruction. Just like it says in, like I was reading in Psalm, when they said the Most High, he did away with the heathens with his right hand. The Most High's right hand is getting ready to move once again. And it's going to devastate many things. You know, and that's why we have to really pay close attention to those who are going to come out of nowhere because of what they have been revealed to them by the Most High. We also have to pay close attention to those that we interact with, because not everybody knows the missions of those that were given, and not everything has been revealed, because there's a reason for that. You know, and that's why even in my discussion with my young brother, you know, that was made very clear to him. It's like, hey, I know what I was revealed to me about you. And I know whenever this time comes, people will be, you know, it will shock many. And I said, well, you know, that's kind of why I leave it alone. And I say, well, if people want to see me one way, they're welcome to that. If people want to, you know, say certain things about different things, that's what they want to think. But I have witnessed in many times when the Most High has taken care of something that I didn't even need to have to handle. And I was like, that's why in the book of Psalms it says, I didn't save myself with my own sword. The Most High moved. There's nothing that I can do to save myself from whatever is attacking me. The Most High will move. Okay. And so in my closing at this time, I would say, you know, Yaya, Mayamona, Toko, Simon Toko, Senor Toko, he was very much in tune with who he saw playing these roles. And I'm privileged to know that he saw something about me. And it was like, okay, there's a lot that's going to be done. You know, because it's not a coincidence of us who are coming into this. We each have been selected for a purpose. And we must honor and respect each other's purpose. And I will do that even when I move forward. And so with that being said, you know, I want to say Zola Kwingi to you family. The Kintwari of our people, the Kimbo of our people will shine so bright that it will not be able to be extinguished. And I look forward to the day when people will see that and they'll recognize, wow, we didn't know those were the people. Obviously, somebody lied about something. And we see now the chess game unfolding between Tatanzambi and Shitani, where the Most High is getting ready to move in a mighty way. And it's going to astound many people. Okay, and get to hallelujah. So again, I want to say, Inaweza Ayave Kongo Kutwala. I thank the shepherd, the good shepherd, Isaiah, for continuing to be inspirational in the things that I'm understanding. And of course, the Mwanan Velila for continuing to help me to move and reveal and do things. because I know right now the spiritual attacks are intensifying, and they're going to continue to intensify because the enemy knows he has a short while. He knows he has a short while, and he knows the Creator is getting ready to sweep clean all iniquity and to restore his world to the way he intended it to be. All right. So I'll say, Zola Quingi, may Tatanzambi keep every last one of you and could help every one of us continue to grow in this truth. And let us move in the spirit of brotherhood and sisterhood and family, because, you know, sadly, much of what's happening today is justifying why we can see why we were sent away from him, and how we're seeing how we're being used up by the false bridegroom, because you are attached to a false bridegroom and people don't know that. You have been honoring a false bridegroom and you don't know it. But the real bridegroom is about to jump on the scene. And that's going to make a whole big difference as to how we know the Bantu people, we messed up. We chose the way of the imposter versus the Most High Akongo. Okay. All right. So have a blessed evening. May the Most High keep you, and Kimball.